Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Trade Decorator Festival. This evening, we've got a webinar for you from John Mears on the secrets to getting more clients on social media without spending a penny on advertising. This session's actually sponsored by Hippo Eco Pack, and the first 100 people in the session will all receive a Hippo dual applicator gun and a Hippo Eco Pack filler. We've got your email addresses, so don't worry, we'll get those out to you. I'm not going to delay showing you the session. I'm going to put that on in a second, but first of all, I'm just going to show you around Crowdcast for those of you that haven't yet joined us. I've seen that you've all found the comments box. Feel free to say hi and comment. I can see it's quite fast moving, and it would be really helpful if you could type any questions that you have in the ask a question box. John is live here in the session with us, and he'll answer all your questions as we go along. So if you hit that ask a question, type in your question, and John will get to it and he'll type a reply for you. If somebody else has asked the question you were going to ask, then you can just vote on that question, and John will be able to see that quite a few of you would like that question answered, and he'll be able to make sure that we don't miss that one. So here we go. Here is the webinar, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name's John Mears, and today we're going to be talking about how to get more clients on social media without spending a penny on ads. Everything we're going to go through in the next 45 minutes or so are all real tips, real techniques that I've used over the last 10 years and I still use on a daily basis in order to help me generate new clients and generate revenue for the businesses that I work for. So we're going to try and get through as much as we can today. Like I say, we've got 10 years of my experience, and I'm going to try and condense as much of it down into this 45 minutes or so you can get as much value as possible and get as much content over to you as possible. So we're really going to rattle through it quickly. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments and we'll try and answer them as we go along, but we're also going to have a Q&A at the end where you can jump in and ask perhaps more specific questions. Okay, so let's get straight to it. Firstly, quick introduction. Who am I? As I said, I am John Mears. I currently work for a company called Andura. We are a paint and coatings manufacturer. But in addition to this, and the reason I'm here and talking to you today, is I run my personal blog website called jmears.co.uk, and this is a website dedicated to offering free practical sales and marketing advice specifically for decorators. Now, I started this because in my capacity as a sales and marketing manager for Andura, I talk to a lot of decorators on a daily basis. I must have talked to hundreds, if not thousands, of decorators in my time with Andura. And speaking with decorators, a common theme started to appear, and that's that decorators will typically get into the industry via college or an apprenticeship or whatever, and they will love the hands-on side of it, and they get a lot of time and spend a lot of time training and learning the craft and the industry and how to do that side of things very well. But there's very little out there to help small companies and small painters and decorators in particular to understand the business side of it as well. So, and particularly sales and marketing, it seemed there was a big hole there, and just it was affecting the industry in the way that painting and decorating, for me, is an industry that deserves a whole lot more respect. And I think part of the way to grow and improve the industry is for us all to share information on how we market ourselves and how painters and decorators market their businesses, and this will raise how the whole industry is perceived. And this is the idea behind jmears.co.uk. It's to offer free sales and marketing advice so that we can really raise the industry as much as possible. And this is, a small part of this is social media and how to use it to, generate leads and generate revenue and obviously, improve the overall image of the industry. So we're going to talk about this today. If you want more, then obviously feel free to get in touch or go onto the website. But for now, we're going to jump into social media, which is a massive part of sales and marketing, particularly for decorators. So let's go straight in and get through this. Okay, quick overview on what we're going to cover today. So number one, we're going to go through the basics of social media, talk about a few common mistakes, mistakes that I've made, things that you need to be aware of before you go in and really start trying to use social media as a platform for growing your business. We're then going to go through the core networks, the core social media platforms at the moment. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll then go through the do's and don'ts of social media, some basic do's and don'ts for you, which hopefully you'll get a load of value from. I'm then going to give you a guaranteed way to grow your reach on social media today. So stick around for that. And then, as mentioned, we're going to do the Q&A, where you can jump in and give me some more specific questions, and I'll do my best to help you out. So, the basics. First things first, emphasis on social. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they go onto social media as a business and try and generate revenue and leads and new customers is they go on there and it's just me, and they just blast information at people. This is not what social media is about. It's not why your customers are logging onto social media. People go on social media to be social, and you should treat it like any other social interaction. Think of it as when you walk into a bar or a pub or something like that. You walk in, you don't just walk in and just start shouting, "Hello, my name's John and I'm a decorator. Would you like me to wallpaper your living room?" This is just not how you act in a social situation. But for some reason, people think on social media that all you need to do is just blast all your products and services and just hope people will come to you. This is not how it works in conventional social situations. So it's also not how it works on social media. You need to treat it, like I say, as any other situation. If you're walking into a pub, you walk in, you start talking to people, you start giving them value, you'll ask questions. This is how you need to act on social media. It's not about blasting your services all over and just hoping people will come to you. It's about engaging, it's about talking to people. It's about, as we say next, it's about being human and being authentic. You need to make sure everything you do is real and is authentic. There's very often, and I made this mistake on a number of occasions, and you see big companies make this mistake all the time, is that you talk on social media like you're a big faceless company. And for the companies I've worked for and for smaller painters and decorators, part of your appeal is the human side of you. And for me, large companies should also be doing this, and the most successful companies, big companies on social media, are very personable. They're very human. They talk to their customers like they're real people. This is what you need to remember to do. You need to really show people that you're not a faceless corporation. You're just a real person trying to make a living. And this should be fundamental to everything you do, down to basic things like your icon, your profile picture. It should be a picture of you. It shouldn't be your company logo. That's not what you are. That's not who you are. That's not what people want to know. Think about your own social media. How many companies do you follow? It's probably very few. You're on social media to connect with other people. And for this reason, you need to act like a person, like a human. Of course, with it being your business, you need to be professional, it needs to be clean, but don't ever forget to be a person, to be human, and to be authentic. Next up, one of the big pushbacks I get quite often when I talk about social media and how to be successful with it is people will tell me that they just can't think of that much content to put out on a daily basis. They can't do a post every day. They can't do multiple posts every day. They can't think about and create all of this content. Well, what you need to do here is switch your frame of thinking to document and not create. So of course there's a place for that perfectly crafted social media post and that lovely video and those perfectly edited photos, and that's something that is key, and we'll talk about that later. But in order to free yourself up and stop stressing yourself about having to create, just think document. What are you doing on a daily basis? Just take photos of it, explain it, write about it. This is what people want to see. They want to see the behind the scenes, they want to understand you, they want to see what you're doing on a daily basis. So think document, not create. Informative or entertaining. As a basis for everything we're going to put on social media from now on, it needs to be either informative or entertaining. If it's not, then it's not offering any value, and it's one of those blasting me posts, and nobody engages with those, nobody likes to see them. So when you think about posts that you're putting on social media, think about what's the person on the other side getting out of this. Think about, if I saw this post, would I stop scrolling? Would this intrigue me? Would I learn something from it? Would it make me laugh? Would it make me smile? You need to think about this before you post anything. And finally, jab, 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 right hook. This is a methodology that comes from Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you don't know Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V, then I really recommend you check him out. Document and not create is also one of his concepts. He is a massive influencer in the social media and internet marketing space. He puts out so much free content. There's so much good stuff there that he's given away absolutely free. Check him out. You can learn loads about him. He's all over YouTube. Really, as a supplement to what we're going to talk about today, that would be your additional reading, as it were. Okay, so first things first, before we go diving straight into the social networks, I'm just going to do a quick one on photography tips, because this is something that really lets a lot of people down, and it frustrates me to see this beautiful decorating work ruined by poor photography. So we're just going to run through a few quick things. Please take note of these. Please understand that as amazing as your decorating is and can be, if you take poor quality photos of it, you're just not doing it justice, and it's a real shame. So okay, so straight away, number one, clean your lens. The amount of photos I see on social media have got blurry fingerprint lens images, that it's just awful. It's so simple. Just give it a quick wipe on your t-shirt before you take the photo. Aim for the corner. Photographing rooms, and particularly interior decorating work, can be difficult. Lots of rooms can be small, so you need to stand in one corner and aim the camera at the other corner. This opens up the room, you get more in, and it means that you get perfectly nice straight lines. Use natural light. Natural light is so much better for showing off the quality of your work, sheens, colors, everything looks a lot better if you use natural light. I appreciate, in the depths of winter, you might not be finished, it's completely dark at night. Okay, then, you might not have a choice. But wherever you can, turn off the lights, turn off the unnatural, the lamps and everything like that. Open the curtains and get those beautiful shots. Tidy up. So frustrating. You're trying to show off your work. This is your portfolio, and you've got half-empty tins of paint and dust sheets and ladders that have been left out and a crisp packet here, there, and everywhere. Just take 2 minutes just to clear those out of the shot. Exterior work. Whenever someone takes a picture of an exterior decorating job they've done, there's always a bin on the floor, or that's been tipped over, or a big pile of rubble somewhere. There's plastic sheets all over the place. Move the bins out of shot. It's a lot easier to tidy up than to edit them out in post. So just take those extra few minutes. Zoom with your feet. Don't be tempted to zoom in on your camera unless you absolutely have to. When you zoom in on the camera, you lose the quality of the shot. So zoom with your feet means literally just walk closer to it. You'll get much more detailed shots and it'll look a lot better. Experiment with angles. Don't just stand in one corner of the room and shoot to the other. Try it from all the different corners. Try holding the camera a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Typically when we're photographing a room, you want to hold the camera about waist height. This will mean that you get equal amounts of ceiling and flooring in. But you know, mix it up, try a few low shots, and like we say next, mix it up with close detail shots. So I see that a lot of people are getting onto this and doing very nice work with this at the moment, particularly those who spray to show off the perfect finish they're achieving. It might be a skirting board and they're, you know, taking a picture from very close and showing along and showing that perfect sheen, or garage doors that I see quite a lot of at the moment. So, you know, mix it up, get some of those detail shots. Absolutely get the ones of the full room. This is showing off your whole work, but just think about when you're posting on social media, you want those nice big shots, but then complement it with some closer ones. Think about, you know, interior design magazines and stuff like that. It's exactly what they do, and it's exactly what you guys should do too. Turn on the grid lines on whatever phone you've got nowadays, and I assume most of you will be photographing on your phone because it's the easiest and often the best way. If you go into your options, you'll usually have a pro mode or something like that, and that will allow you to put the grid lines on. The grid will be like a cross hatch that you'll have on the screen, and this means that just when you're holding the camera, you'll have this cross hatch, and you'll be able to, all the straight lines, you'll be able to line them up properly and just make sure your photo is perfect. And then finally, edit all of your photos. This again is one of those things that takes a couple of minutes, but a lot of people don't do it because they can't be bothered or they don't know how to. Take 10 minutes to learn about it on YouTube. You don't even need to do that often. You know, just before you post it, just quickly just tweak around with the brightness, the contrast, the saturation, put a filter on it, whatever you need to do. Just, you can really make an image just pop and just give it that extra 10%. And at the end of the day, you know, this is your portfolio of work, and this is what you're using to attract customers on social media. So you want it to look as good as possible. So take the extra couple of minutes, edit your photos before you put them on social media. So going into the first social network, we've got Instagram, your online portfolio. So as I say, you know, as a decorator, this is where you're going to show off all your best work. So time to use those photography skills, a goldmine for decorators. Honestly, if I was going to set up a social network specifically for decorators, it would look exactly like Instagram. This is, if you're not on it, then you really should be, because it's a massive network. It's growing really fast. It's owned by Facebook now, so it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And Instagram is all about beautiful photos, lovely crafted images, and this, for a decorator, it's absolutely perfect. You know, all day long you are transforming spaces into beautiful, you know, works of art, and this is what people want to look at on Instagram. This is what they're there for. So before and after photos are absolutely perfect for this. So get them on your feed and start showing off what you can do. Just a quick one, we always say before and after photos, switch it round, call it after and before photos. So always post your after photo first, then post your before. So they've got to swipe to get to the before photo. We do this because when someone goes onto your profile, there's a grid of all the photos that you've taken. You want this to be a beautiful, you know, aesthetically pleasing grid of photos, so people can just have a quick glance and see, wow, this is, you know, this guy's got some really good work. You don't want it to look like it's just, you just don't want a load of before photos looking absolutely awful. So put your afters before, afters and then before photos. Feed, stories, live or reels. So you've got a number of options when it comes to posting content on Instagram. You've got your feed, which for me is where you should put all your best photos, your afters and befores. You want to perfectly curate this, make this your absolute best of the best. You've then got stories. Stories only last for 24 hours, and this is where you want to jump in and show the human side. You want to give the raw footage, and the same with live. If you're a decorator, you might want to show them what you're doing on site. So it could be a quick video, it could be a couple of quick pictures. Show them exactly what you're doing. You know, whether you're using your dustless sander or if you're spraying or something like that. Just be quick on it. Raw footage, show them who you are, yeah, the person behind the business. And then reels. Reels is a relatively new way of putting content onto Instagram. Now, the reason I put this in there is because it's important for me to point out that whenever a social media network adds a new feature, so Instagram added Reels recently, the algorithm and the social media network, the algorithm on the network will heavily reward anyone that uses it. It loves those early adopters. So whenever a new feature comes out on a social media platform, you should be absolutely all over it. Just think about, how can I use this? How can I use this? So to tell you how it works, say I have 1,000 followers on Instagram and I post a photo onto my feed. Instagram doesn't immediately just show it to my 1,000 followers. They'll send it out to, say, 100. And then, depending on the reaction it gets from those 100, whether it gets a fair amount of likes or comments and general engagement, then it'll go, okay, that's a good post. Let's post it out to another couple of hundred people. And it will build and go on like that for 24, 48 hours. Now, when there's a new feature, so in this case, Reels, because it wants to reward you and it wants more people to use that new feature, the algorithm, I've got 1,000 followers, I post a reel, it doesn't just go to 100 people, it might go to 250 or 300 people. And then if it gets a little bit of engagement, Instagram will reward you even more. It'll post it out to another 500 people, and 100 of those people might not be your followers. They might be people that, are in your market. So you need to, whenever you find these opportunities, jump on them quick. Okay, next up is the vanity trap. People get far too caught up in how many likes and how many followers they got. I'm here to tell you it doesn't matter. I don't care if you've got 10,000 followers or you've got 5 followers. If I've got 5 followers, but those 5 followers are my absolute raving fans, they're dream customers, or they're Bill Gates, Richard Branson and Elon Musk, I'd rather have those 3 followers than 10,000 people that never buy anything from me. So it's not about the quantity, it's all about the quality. So remember that. Don't get stuck worrying about how many likes you've got and stuff like that, and how many followers you've got. It's not worth it, and it doesn't mean anything. You're all about the quality. And then finally, engage. And this is something that goes for all social media networks. We talked about some people find it very difficult to create content or to document. Something you can do to make sure you're constantly have a presence on social media is to engage with people. Firstly, if you make a post and they comment, then you need to engage with them in the comments. But secondly, and more importantly perhaps, is when people that you know are putting content up, or perhaps it's some of your target customers are putting content up, you need to be commenting on there. People on Instagram and all social networks, they might get a lot of likes, but they don't often, most posts don't get a lot of comments. So if you take 10-15 minutes a day to go through your feed and put thoughtful comments on posts for people that you're trying to get the attention of, trust me, they're going to remember who you are. If you keep popping up in their comments as putting something nice, something thoughtful, something that helps them, something that's giving value, do this. I would try and do it 20-30 times a day if you can. You can knock this out in 10-15 minutes, no problem. Just get in there and just keep that presence going. Help people out exactly where you can. Remember what we said, it's all, you've got to give more than you get. So this is where you give. Next up, we've got Facebook, which, as you know, is the biggest. It's the Goliath of social media. Quickly then, the basics on your business page. If you haven't already got a business page, you absolutely need to get one. It's step one in showing people that you are a legitimate business and what you do. So get your business page set up. This just needs to be clean, simple, have very clear messaging, what you do, where you do it, who you do it for, and then a call to action, very important. Just make it very clear how people can get in touch with you. So moving on from that, use your posts to educate potential customers on your skills. This is particularly true on Facebook because there's a lot of people on there, but you can do this on most social networks, and I really encourage you to do this. One of the things I hear a lot from decorators is they get frustrated that people just don't understand the skills and the processes that are involved in creating that perfect finish into, a lot of customers don't understand why you're using a dustless sander or why you're spending a whole day filling. They don't understand this, and it frustrates decorators. Well, I'm here to tell you that Facebook and social media is the absolute perfect platform for you to go out and show people exactly what you're doing and to educate people on why it's important. So we talked about, the raw footage of you on site, the behind the scenes stuff. Put this onto Facebook, show people what you're doing and explain why you're doing it. If you're camera shy, you don't have to be on camera. You can just take photos and put the caption on why you're doing what you're doing. You don't have to be in shot when you're doing videos. You can just be showing around the job and just narrating over what you're doing. Think of different ways you can do this and do it on a consistent basis, and then people will just slowly start to understand that, you know what, there's a lot more to painting and decorating, and this goes back to, like we say, this is all about working together and working as an industry to raise the whole profile. Next up, we've got Facebook groups, and be the go-to person in your area for decorating advice and work. So Facebook groups, for me, is one of the most powerful marketing tools you'll find. There is a Facebook group for pretty much anything. So, for me, my target customers, my dream customers are decorators. So Facebook groups, type in decorators, bang, there's groups full of decorators, full of my perfect customers. What do I do in those groups? I don't go in and just start blasting about what I do and everything like that. I go in there and I start talking to people and try and help them out and give value where I can. This is exactly what you need to do, but you want to find the groups that are obviously have and already have all of your dream customers in there. So it might be there's a local town or a village group. If it's anything like where I live, there's 3 or 4 groups, all with a couple of thousand local people in there, and they are, they're your target customers. So get into those local groups and don't just go in blasting about, I'm a decorator, I can do this for you, I can do that for you. Go in on the proviso that you're just trying to help people. So engage with people. If anyone's talking about DIY or anything like that, you want to jump on that straight away. Talk them through the right processes to do it. I know this might sound counterintuitive, teaching people how to decorate, but if someone's going to do DIY, they're going to do DIY, and there's nothing you can do to change them. So the best you can get out of that situation is to show everybody else in the group that you're that lovely decorator who helps people out wherever he can or wherever she can, and start building up that reputation. And if you're constantly present, you're constantly on there, commenting and helping people out and giving people value, then one day someone's going to go on there, and I say one day, it's going to happen regularly, someone's going to go, I need a decorator, anyone recommend someone, and you're going to have about the last 10 people that you helped out for free, they're all going to go and talk to Karen the decorator or Steve the decorator. They were on here the other day, they helped me out, they're absolutely great, they really know what they're doing, great person, I recommend them. There we go. All just by give, and then eventually it will come back to you. It's a long game, don't get me wrong, and this is something that trips a lot of people up, that people think that they can go on social media and just hammer it straight away and get loads of business, and then after 3 months when they haven't got anywhere, they just think, oh, it's rubbish and social media doesn't work and it's all just a load of rubbish. It takes time, but once you get there and with consistency, you will build it up, and more opportunities will just start coming in and in and in. And like I say, you don't have to spend any money to do this. It's 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. You can knock this out, no problem. Next up, we've got Twitter. Twitter has, personally, this is one of my favorite networks. This is when I started with Andura. We launched our interior paint using almost exclusively Twitter, and went from 0 to 6 figures in revenue just on Twitter. This is how powerful a tool it can be. Number one, you can do things that, so on Instagram you can't post links in your captions or anything like that. On Twitter you can. Twitter, there are seemingly no limits on who you can follow, so it's very easy to find loads of your dream customers and connect with them. So from my side of things, I wanted to connect with as many decorators as I could. So I think, who has already congregated large groups of decorators? Who are decorators already going to be following? Decorators merchants. So I search for decorators merchants. They'd each have 1,000 followers. 900 of them are decorators, my perfect customers. I want to talk to decorators and talk about my products, and then I also want to talk to decorators merchants. So this is where I went in, and you need to think about the same sort of thing. So think about your local area and the type of customers you're trying to connect with. If you're trying to connect with building companies or something like that, then you might think, okay, so who do building companies probably follow on Twitter? Like Travis Perkins, building merchants, things like that. Go to Travis Perkins, have a look at their followers, and you will find loads of customers. Architects, interior designers, they're probably going to be following interior design magazines and stuff like that. So a lot of your other customers might be. Jump in there. And if you're just looking for local people, think about local businesses in your area that have a Twitter account. You might even follow them, local businesses, on your own Twitter account. This could be something, in my local town, the local pizza company has masses of following on social media. So if I wanted to connect with loads of local people, I'd go onto their Twitter account, I'd look at their followers, and I'd start connecting. And then we go back to, like we were talking about earlier, engaging, giving value, and just, really, really showing people what you've got to offer, and not just blasting about everything and just shouting at people with your offers. You want to give. Quick one then on your pinned tweet. So pinned tweet is the showcase that you have on Instagram. So you have a bio that's very short. Your pinned tweet is what people will see at the top of your feed whenever they click onto your profile. So make sure your pinned tweet, this will be one of those exceptions where you are just posting about your business, what you offer, something like that. If you can get a short video, great, or maybe like a slideshow of some of your before and after pictures, great, and obviously your contact details and everything, but that should also be in your bio. And also, one last thing in terms of a great way to grow your audience on Twitter is competitions. You've all seen them. I'm sure nearly everybody watching this has entered competitions exactly like this, like, retweet, follow to enter. When you start connecting with lots and lots of people using the techniques that we've just mentioned, they might not always follow you back. So in order to then start attracting those to start following you back, you want to do the odd competition. So I've seen decorators do a full room redecoration, or maybe a feature wall, paper hanging, or something like that. It doesn't really have to be much. It might just be a free tin of paint or brush or something like that. You don't have to spend a lot. People are very willing to just hit retweet and follow if they can win anything. You might want to team up with a local business and do something with them, a competition running in partnership with somebody. Think about these things. It's a great way to move people from just someone that you follow to someone that also follows you back, and then you can start building a relationship with them. Next up, we've got LinkedIn. Now, first off, most people, when I talk about LinkedIn in the decorating industry, say, well, isn't it just for corporate professional types? I'm here to tell you, no, it's not. And even if it were, then, for me, painting and decorating is a professional industry, and you should think of yourselves exactly like that. But everybody is on LinkedIn, and it's growing so fast at the moment. Building your connections and LinkedIn jail. So similar to with Twitter, you're always looking to build your connections. With LinkedIn, you need to be very careful. So typically when someone starts using LinkedIn, they get very excited and they want to grow their connection list loads, and they just go in and add loads and loads of people. With LinkedIn, if you add too many people all at once and they all reject you all at once, you'll get put in something called LinkedIn jail, which is a very nasty place to be. It basically disables your account. It's very difficult to get your account back up and running. So what you need to do when you're adding connections on LinkedIn is only add 10, 15, maybe 20 a day, but just do it on a consistent basis. And if after a week or so, you've got 50 or 60 people haven't, accepted your connection, then just go in and just delete those connection requests, and just keep repeating the process. And you can very quickly build up your connections on LinkedIn. People I found are very keen to connect, and again, for decorators, I think this is a big opportunity. especially if you want to go into more of the commercial side of things. So you need to remember that, you know, all new build companies, architects, interior designers, they're all on LinkedIn. You can start following them, you can start connecting with them. This is where, you know, the functionality of LinkedIn is great for that, because you can search by job title. It means finding the right people on LinkedIn is much easier than in some other networks. So it works great if you are, you know, looking for residential work, because, you know, all of your target customers have jobs and most of them will probably be on LinkedIn. But particularly if you're looking for commercial work, LinkedIn's a great place to be. Standing out, only 4% of 500 million users post on a regular basis. This is something which is true for most networks, most social media platforms. Most people just don't post on there, but particularly on LinkedIn, there is at the moment just an opportunity for someone, particularly in the painting and decorating industry. I see not a lot of people posting their work, and you know, you could really jump in and stand out. If only 4% of all the users of LinkedIn are actually posting content on a regular basis, this means if you post content on a regular basis, you're going to be at the top of a lot of people's feeds on a very regular basis. So it's a great place to stand out. And next we say reply to every comment you receive. We mentioned this briefly earlier, but with LinkedIn it's even more the case. So every time you get a comment on your post, reply to it. 'Cause every time you get a comment, it goes back to the top of people's feeds. Then you reply to that comment, it goes back to the top of feeds again. And every comment you get and every reply just boosts the post and makes it last longer and puts it in front of a lot more people. So make sure you do this, even if it's just a simple case of just saying thank you, thumbs up, smiley face, whatever. Put that on there. And a quick pro tip, comments of 4 words or more are much preferred by the algorithm. So if you can think of a 4-word reply, put that in there. Quick one on LinkedIn profile, because this is something a lot of people ask from me. A lot of decorators aren't on LinkedIn yet, but want to get on there, but are not quite sure about their LinkedIn profile and how to set it all up. So it's nice and simple, not too dissimilar to a lot of things. So number one, you've got a profile picture. For here is the picture of me. You want to get a reasonably professional photo in here, so you know, no dirty t-shirts and, you know, decorating trousers that have got cork all over them and look like you've got a cricketer's pad on there. Make sure you're looking clean and professional. Pop a photo on there. You've then got your banner. So at the top I've got the Andura logo. So for you could put your company logo here. You know, make sure you do have in your profile picture is a picture of you. You can put your company logo there, or if I was a decorator, I might think about putting, you know, a picture of your recent piece of work or your best piece of work. If you can narrow it down to your best piece of work, I'd put that in there, something that really catches the eye. Headline text, you don't have a lot of space here, so you want to keep it brief, and essentially you want to use this space to show people,
So there's some fantastic advice there from John. I'm sure that you've all learned some great tips. If you do want to get in touch with John, you can, directly beneath the screen, I've put a link to John's website. There's loads of useful information on there, and obviously details for you to contact him if you want to ask him anything further. John's also a moderator in the Trade Decorator Forum. If you're not already a member, check us out on Facebook and join. And again, you can catch John in there and ask him any questions you've got. Thanks everyone for joining us. I really enjoyed the session, John. And if you have got any questions, then please feel free to get in touch. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.